Access Sportsnet Lakers. The Emmy Award-winning gang is back together. Big Game James Worthy, our Hall of Famer. Mike Bresnan, our Laker insider. Our MVP, Allie Clifton. I'm Chris McGee. I would like to say, hey, how's the summer going? Everybody doing well? But you know what? There's no time for small talk. Let's get right into it because big news, NBA draft night, and the Lakers didn't make a pick, but they made the biggest move of the offseason so far, agreeing to trade for Wizards guard and LA native Russell Westbrook. The Wizards will receive Kuzma, KCP, Montrez, and the rights to the number 22 pick, Isaiah Jackson, which has since been dealt to Indiana. The Wizards will also send Lakers 2 future second-round picks. Russell Westbrook is going to be a Los Angeles Laker after all these years. Remember, he played his high school basketball here. He went to UCLA. I'll start with you, Big Game James. Your thoughts when you heard the trade. You like it. You're sold on it. What were some of the things going through your head?
He's a homeboy, and he's back home. And I'm totally sold on it, 100%. To be able to acquire a player like Russell Westbrook at this stage of his career where he pretty much knows what he wants, what he needs to do, and to land him with LeBron at LeBron's stage of his career, he's a closer. He's a proven closer, a proven guy that comes every night, plays hard. When he gets going, he's not a great three-point shooter, but he puts so much pressure on the defense, and he can pull up for those 15-footers. But I think his leadership, let's say LeBron's out of the game, or I think it's someone that, we can rely on with the ball in his hands. I think it's a great mix. He wants to win a championship. He really wants to win a championship. And I think that's a big deal for him, coming him. So he's going to do whatever it takes, whatever attitude he needs to have, whatever game he needs to play. I think he and LeBron kind of understand each other. I think it's lethal that we get a player like that. He's got two hearts in his chest.
Yes, he does.
And he doesn't take nights off.
No, he does not.
Yeah, great calls, James, right there for sure. This guy just doesn't give up. He never stops. He will definitely help the Lakers pace, which was a pretty pedestrian 16th in the NBA last season. That's going to change right now. Don't forget his offensive rebounds, his defensive rebounds, another thing that he will help immediately with the Lakers. Again, they were 16th in rebounds. Not great, very mediocre. Very good defender still. Very high-end defensive player. One of the fastest players I have ever seen in my life, and he is now a Laker. I guess not officially. It's going to happen in about a week officially, but both teams have agreed to it. A huge pickup for this franchise.
I mean, he averages triple doubles throughout the whole season. And Allie, I guess, listen, you're going to go on social media. You're going to talk to friends. Everyone's going to have an opinion. What box does it check? How does he fit? All that stuff, and we'll dive into it. But one thing is clear. It is hard to get a future Hall of Famer on your team when you already have a couple others on there. And the Lakers did that.
I think the one thing, because when you talk about boxes it checks, there's a lot of people talking about the one box that has been preached about, not just this offseason, but for so many off seasons. When you're surrounding a great like LeBron James, and then you have the talent and the superstar caliber player in Anthony Davis, shooting is a must. And so when you pick up Russell Westbrook and you want to say, but he can't shoot. Excuse me. He is a future Hall of Famer. 4 of the last 5 seasons, as we know, he averages a triple-double. He is an enforcer. You talk about the pace, the tempo. What can't this guy do? The stability, the way in which he approaches the game, you talked about it. He will not cheat you with effort. This is huge. I said it last week on the show.
You did.
I struggled to step aside and not be excited about this. I'm over the moon, through the sun. The one thing that I will say that I'm really glad about all of this is on the podcast, you were willing to give up yourself for another guy on the West Coast. And we got Russell Westbrook and get to keep you.
And I'm staying. I was trading myself and Zeffy, my dog. We were going to leave for 2 years to Portland. We did talk about that. I said I would have done that. But you know what? I get to stay, and we have a future Hall of Famer. I think that is fantastic. Big Game James, you guys have all kind of touched on it. On a nightly basis, for a team that's trying to win a championship like the Lakers, what does he bring you?
Attitude and perseverance every night. He's not going to give up. He's going to put so much pressure on you that I don't think he makes defenses give up, but I think he just makes them say, damn, I don't know what else to do, because he comes at you so hard every second he's on the play. He's a shot maker. He's a closer. He can finish at the rim. I love his 15-foot range, the way he can back you up and pull up. So I also think he's led. You see what he did with Washington this year? At the end of the season, he was, coming on strong. And I just think he's a leader. I think he knows what LeBron wants. In LeBron's last few years, LeBron definitely knows that Russ wants a championship. So, yeah, he gives you another closer. You got LeBron, you got AD, and now you have the trio together.
Yeah, he might not give the Lakers one of the boxes that need to be checked. Shooting, okay, 31% from three-point range last season. That's not that great. But he fulfills the playmaking piece. So much pressure on LeBron last season, especially when AD went down in February. He had to be the guy to make this offense go. Yeah. Now he can cruise a little bit. Now you have a guy like Russell Westbrook, who gets, pretty much a triple-double every game. By the way, just a few months ago, back in May, set the all-time NBA record with his 182nd triple-double, passing Oscar Robertson, and also 11.5 rebounds a game for a point guard. Only 5 guys in the entire NBA had more rebounds than that. That's pretty strong stuff right there.
Something James said hit me, and I want to throw it to you because you already kind of touched on what the Lakers get on a nightly basis, and I agree with what both of you said. Russell Westbrook still desperately wants a championship ring. That's why he plays. How important is it for teams to add guys like that to a roster that already has championship rings, a guy that's hungry and still cares about the regular season and still has the eyes on the prize, and he's never been more hungry? It's important in your eyes?
I think absolutely. I think it's a renewed energy, if you will, that you're adding to the locker room. He's surrounding him with guys who are proven winners, who he apparently, as we see in different exchanges throughout the course of the season, on social media or whatnot, who he believes in to take him to that place. Russell Westbrook's also a guy, let's not forget, that during his time in OKC was up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals to go to the finals, who has been right there.
Right there.
And so I think, as we've all talked about, someone who wants to give it and will give it every single day, night in and night out, allowing teammates around him, just as much as he makes them better, to make him better. I always say that about leaders. The ones that are willing to lead also will be led. And I think that's something that Russell can bring to this locker room, but also guys in the locker room that are already here can help take him to a place that he has not been.
Yeah, he made the finals back in 2012, lost in 5 games to Miami. Obviously, LeBron's team right there. Let's not forget the offense here. When the Lakers lost to Phoenix, there were a couple dead spots in some of those games for the Lakers. They went 8 minutes without a basket.
Too many times.
Too many times. Yeah. I mean, a lot of stressing out on offense. Just not enough movement, not enough points. And that's all going to change because this guy is a human highlight film. I'm not sure how they're going to be defensively. You say goodbye to some good pieces. KCP, Kuz, underrated defender out there. Trez, tough guy down low. But they're going to score like 140 points every night, and I don't care about the defense right now.
You know who loved the droughts the Lakers would go in against the Phoenix Suns? Brian Bergen, our director,
the
Suns fan that flew to every single game.
He didn't mind the droughts.
He's chirping in the ear already.
Laker fans love the droughts or hate the droughts, so now it's over now.
By the way, look at these numbers, James. You always talk about guys, from the old school days, legends of the game. You yourself are one of those legends of the game. We talk about guys that will be in the Hall of Fame. You don't just throw that around lightly. You're one of those guys. Players with 20,000 points and 8,000 assists in NBA history. It's LeBron, it's the Big O, it's Gary Payton, and it's Westbrook. So, big game, James. The Lakers have a new big three, and we wondered how they would reload and how he fits with AD and LeBron. There was lots of talk about Buddy Hield because of the shooting and what the Lakers wanted to surround those guys with. He doesn't check that box, as you guys all said, but boy, does he check the others, correct? When you look at those numbers.
And he gives you enough twos to compensate.
Yes.
Layup after layup, 8-footer.
He averages 22.
So, with Westbrook, if it were any other player coming in, we'd be like, yeah, he needs to hit some threes. He's streaky, but he gives you so much more in his game, and a lot of it is in the energy department. He just wears you down. But the one thing, too, that I think he's learned from, look, he's played with Durant. You know, he's played with Harden over OKC. He's been around and played with some superstar players. And I think at this stage of his career, he's learned from that. And I think that's going to level him out a little bit. He's not going to try to, like, overdo it or, overexert himself. He's going to come in here and realize exactly what it is he has to do. He's not going to lose his tenacity, though. He's going to be coming hard. But I think coming here with LeBron, AD, seeing how they won, AD came in here and won. And he said, yeah, I can do this. I think it's going to level him out. I think it's perfect timing for him.
And we've seen how he fits with other superstars. And we were talking before the show about guys that have played with him. Just Bradley Beal recently calling him one of his favorite teammates of all time. So we know he's a team guy, and LeBron and AD are going to get along with him. Allie, you and I've talked about, well, the pieces that are going to fit with that. We kind of want to see what that's going to look like. But when it comes to just AD and LeBron, how does he fit?
I think pace and tempo is going to be the biggest key and the biggest attribute that Russ can bring. Every single possession. I think you often heard it last year or a season ago, if you will, that they weren't playing up tempo enough. You know, they weren't out in the open floor really utilizing their strengths as much as they could. This guy provides that for you. I also think this, as much as we want to sit here and say that Russ coming to this team has to adjust, I think that we might see a different version of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You might see a little bit more of Anthony Davis at the center spot. You might see LeBron James playing the power forward a little bit more because he's got a guy like that he can count on, that he can trust and knows can stabilize the offense. Yeah. And so I think that's an angle which I don't think a lot of people are thinking about and talking about just yet. But that's where I would like to see it change.
Yeah. And Brad's brought up an interesting point earlier. His rebounding, okay? That fast break is going to start as soon as it touches his hands.
Rebounding guards.
He's not going to be looking to outlet pass anybody. He might take 3 or 4 dribbles, get it going, and then give it up. But I think that with his rebound ability, and he's a guard that understands that guards don't box out, guards don't rebound, and he gets a lot of them on both ends. So when he gets it, their fast break is in gear immediately. So we'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah, that's a great point. Brez, before we go to break, why can't this trade be made official?
Yeah, great call. It's not going to be made official till August 6th, which is next Friday. A couple of things going on here. Primarily Kuzma. He's still under contract for about $3.5 million. That changes next week. When his extension finally kicks in, he'll be up to $13 million a year. The NBA has very stringent trade rules, very strict. You can't salary dump. You can't trade $40 million for $20 million. You got to be within 80%.
Gotcha.
So once Kuzma goes from 3.5 to 13,
that's a big deal.
Teams are within 80% of the exchange salaries. It can be done when the moratorium is lifted a week from Friday.
All right, the Brody is headed to the Lakers. We'll have more on what the move means for the Purple. First time ever, Oklahoma State, the #1 overall pick, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, local young man we watched rise to stardom at USC, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Suggs, of course. Watched him a lot in the NCAA tournament.
Fun to watch.
For the Zags. Big game. Big game. Big game. Draft memory. You were #1 overall pick. Chick makes the pick. You weren't even there, big game. Were you studying for a test? What was going on?
It's crazy. Before I came in, I was watching some of the draft. And it is a huge production now. It's almost like, the Emmys or the Grammys. They got all this music playing and all these, the parents are coming down these stairs and it's just like crazy interviews. I didn't even go. I had an exam. I got out of it and I just said my professor wouldn't let me out of it and I didn't go. So Chick Hearn sit in my place. Yeah. And man, he was really upset that I wasn't there. But it wasn't a big show. It was, Larry O'Brien at the time was the commissioner.
Yeah.
And he get up there, now the #1 pick. And it was.
What suit would you wear if it was, if it was a show back in the day?
Back in the day, basic blue and gray guy.
Little Tar Heel colors, maybe?
Yeah, and I had, I'll tell you what I had. I had a blue suit with gray pants, and I wore it for 3 or 4 years, man. Yeah. Different shirt. I would have had that. It wasn't fly. I think, let's see, Dominique was there, Terry Cummins, a few guys there. But big game was back in Chapel Hill, taking a.
I'm sure that was a great moment, though.
Yeah.
What do you think of some of the suits these days from the players?
Well, when LeBron and those guys, I remember those white suits and all those crazy. It's crazy now. It's different. Social media, man, it's crazy.
It's a big part of the the NBA now. All right, let's discuss some free agent shooters. That's the topic everyone wants to know, Brez. I want you to give us Give us 3 of them. Give us one at a time, and we'll kind of jump in. So give me your 3.
Okay, so the Lakers right now,
Yep.
including Russell Westbrook, have 4 guys under contract.
Okay.
Going into free agency, which starts next Monday.
So that's not a lot, right?
They need to pick up 11 guys to fill out the roster.
Big game, Allie.
You're still here. We could throw you in there for sure.
Yeah.
One of the things they still need, obviously, despite the big acquisition today, shooting. We've already addressed it in the A block.
Okay.
Number 1 guy, and keep in mind, they're not going to have a lot of money to spend. They're going to have under $6 million.
Say that again for the people
Under
in the back.
$6 million.
Okay.
The average NBA salary is going to be about $9.5. The Lakers are going to have between $5.5 and $6 million at most.
So get Steph Curry off your list.
Yeah, cross off.
Bradley
Kyle
Beal.
Lowry, not going to come here. Chris Paul, ain't going to happen.
Okay.
So lower the expectations. Number 1, familiar name, Danny Green. Shot 41% last season. CP gone. Schroeder not coming back, almost surely now. So you got to think of some perimeter guys who can hit some threes as well.
I mean, we love him, James. He's a Tar Heel. He was great when he was here. Lakers won a championship. 34 years old.
34.
Does that concern you a little bit as he gets up there in age? Maybe battles with some injuries. Had a good year for the Sixers. We know he can hit clutch threes.
Yeah, the offense almost has to flow, exactly perfectly for him. But when you have AD out, LeBron out, he's going to have a hard time finding shots. But in the perfect situation, he still can knock them down. At 34 years old, I can't see that he's going to be looking for, more money. So he's got to be looking for places where he wants to play.
And where he fits.
He's already won.
Yep.
He's already won, 3 championships? So it's not like it's not like he's seeking. So he may be at 34 looking at some other 34-year-olds and saying, hey, I still can get 9, 10, something like that. So he's still going to be looking he's a smart Carolina kid, so he's going to be looking to get a little bit of change.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Give us player number 2.
Yeah, Patty Mills, savvy vet, turned 32 this past season and set a career mark for most threes per game. Hit almost 2.5 a game in a pretty relaxed system down in San Antonio.
Next guy out.
Well, yeah, one last guy here. We got to go with another former Laker, Wayne Ellington. Remember him from a few years ago? Super nice guy.
Can still shoot it.
Yeah, can still shoot. Now, he's with Detroit last season, right around 40%. Not a very good franchise. They struggled last year. 42%. Yeah, specifically 42%. This would be a parallel move for him money-wise. Unlike Danny Green, unlike Patty Mills, he made the vets minimum last season of about 2.5. So all he has to do is say, I'm going to take that, move out west, go back to the Lakers. They'll give me vets min, and I'll just sit out there and shoot threes all day. Another guy up there in age, almost mid-30s. So 3 guys there in their 30s. Again, they're not going to be making a ton of money. The Lakers are out of free agent money, but there's 3 shooters for you right there.
Another great job, Brez. Great list. Another smart Carolina kid. He might know that 42% from 3 might get you a little more money, but maybe a chance to play with some of the greats in the game and a chance to win a ring. Big game. What do you think?
Who are you talking about?
Wayne Ellington.
I think that's the only true realistic pick of the 3. I can't see the other 2 coming down to 5?
Yeah, 5.5, 6 at most.
But Wayne's a guy that he can still stick it. And if you got Westbrook, LeBron, and AD, that looks like he might get some legitimate shots. So I think that's it. I don't see anybody else, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm going to give you a list right now.
Give it
Look
up.
at some of the free agent shooters that the Lakers could target. Reggie Bullock. We always say former Laker on here. Patty Mills, Dougie McBuckets.
I like him.
Otto Porter. Ben McLemore just got done playing for.
He could come back
Lakers.
for the vets.
So there are some people on that list.
I like what Otto does.
Now let's check in with Allie.
You already know.
The pulse.
Social media. It's been buzzing, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's check in and see what's going on with the latest. We begin with Shams. The Washington Wizards have agreed to trade Russell Westbrook, 2024 second-round pick, 2028 second-round pick to the Los Angeles Lakers for Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, and number 22 tonight. Sources told The Athletic, and we saw that through. Tanya Ganguly, friend of our show, today's the day. All that time and effort I spent trying to beat Kyle Goon and Ben Golliver to this photo finally paid off. Salute, salute. Bobby Marks with this, a Westbrook James Davis trio combined to earn $121 million in 2021-22.
How much?
Yeah. There are 19 teams that will earn less heading into free agency. No big deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bobby Marks also with this. The Lakers are right at $130 million in salary heading into the offseason.
What I need to know
right, can still bring back their own free agents, including Alex Caruso.
It's a discussion.
PHT.
Yep.
LA will also have the $5.9 million tax mid-level and vetman exception. And then our last one.
Still have that.
Flea, the one and only. Westbrook, I welcome you with joy and a wild look in my.
Is headed to the Lakers. Media reporting that the Lakers agreed to trade for Russell Westbrook. The Wizards will receive Kuzma, KCP, Montrez, the number 22 pick, Isaiah Jackson in this year's draft. In addition, the Wizards will also send Lakers 2 future second-round picks. So this is on Instagram and Twitter. Russell Westbrook, thank you, DC. You welcome my family and I with open arms from day one. Everyone from the front office to the training staff, the coaches, my teammates, and the fans. I'm grateful you all took a chance on me and supported me every step of the way. Never easy when you rake in a superstar like the Lakers have pulled off. It takes a haul, right? And one of the guys, the last baby Laker, Kyle Kuzma, the last young gun, is now gone. He won a ring, accepted his role. He became a better defender. And I personally think, James, this could be great for Kuz to go there and blossom even more.
Well, I mean, look, he's had a pretty good career here. You know, the Lakers gave him a lot of confidence. You know, they traded Ingram away, Randall, Ball, Hart, and they kept him. And I think I think he played extremely well. He got better on the defensive end. He got better at the 4 spot, a shot blocker, a rebounder, a double-double guy. I don't know how long it was going to work out with him playing with LeBron and AD. You really got to be a tough dude to go in there and get yours. You got to have a different mentality, like, you know, like a Murray or Trae Young. You really got to, if you're playing with superstars, and still be able to go get yours. You know, I struggled with that a little bit before I found my edge with Kareem and Magic, and I didn't feel like every night after night, when we needed him to step up, and that he was consistent enough. So I think the Lakers gave him plenty of time to blossom. I think this is a good move for him, considering what we're getting back, and give him the chance to do what he wants to do. Maybe get more shots, get a little bit more opportunity. So I think it's a good for Kuz as well.
Look, for Kuz, it's a chapter closed. It's a part of his journey, the start of his journey that has come to an end, but it's far from over. You know, that's a guy that you guys have all watched up close from day one here for the last couple of years for myself, who I've always appreciated and respected as a professional. I think he's handled his role, as you touched on, Big Game, with the utmost respect and responsibility. I think the one thing that we heard night in and night out, whether it was vocally or physically, was he's an opportunity guy. He wants the opportunities. He seeks the opportunity. And it wasn't the opportunity, I think, that he envisioned once Anthony Davis came here. That's part of the job, part of the gig. And so you wish him the best. And you know that he will maximize his opportunity at the next stop.
We'll always be on the Kuz bus, won't we?
Yeah, very sad. I'm at the Kuz bus. It's gone. I mean, I guess on the other hand, I bought a car from Russell Westbrook's auto dealer last year. So, at least there's one trade. There it is, the Kuz bus, one last time.
Ali's still
tearing up a little bit here. Sad. See my guy go. Always enjoyed talking with him. Fun to see him grow as a person. For him, his game kind of stalled a little bit this past season. The scoring was down. The playoffs were not what he wanted. He worked on his all-around game, became a better defender, a better rebounder, maybe even a better passer. But he became expendable because of his salary, $13 million. If you're going to get a guy who's going to be making $44 million next season, as in Russ, you need to get really high up there, really close to that number if you want to make the trade. So what do? Kuzma, $13 million. KCP, $13 million. Montrezl Harrell, he opts in. That's $10 million right there. You're pretty much there after you make this draft pick. That's $2.5 million right there. You tack it all together. So it's kind of more a financial thing than anything else. That's why Kuzma is not with the Lakers.
And, of course, we wish KCP, who was a huge part of the championship run, and Montrezl Harrell, who gave it every single night, the best of luck. Here's a look at the league's all-time triple-double list, and it's Westbrook running away, 184. The Big O, 181. Magic, 138. J. Kidd, 107. And then LeBron James, one away from 100. THT and Caruso. Brez, I want to go back to you. We saw what Bobby Marks said when Ali read off that tweet. Pieces the Lakers would love to hang on to, can they?
I'm thinking one of those two guys stays. You know, THT is restricted, so he makes a little bit more sense. He can sign an offer sheet with one other team, and the Lakers will have some time to match it. They'll have till about August 6th or 7th. So that makes more sense. He's a little bit more restricted than obviously Caruso. But the Lakers are going to be paying some tax. They have three guys making almost $121 million. Do they want to pay $10 million for Caruso for next season and maybe another $10 million for a guy like THT and still have to acquire 9 more guys to fill out this roster? So as you see right there, that's how it stands right now. That's a lot of cash already. You're talking $124 million on the books for next year. Maybe Gasol retires. You know, who knows what he's going to do, or if he wants to be traded. You know, we'll see what happens with him. But the Lakers need a lot. They need some big men. They need some shooters that we've already gone over ad nauseum on this show. Caruso, great defender. They lost a couple good guys defensively with this trade today. You definitely want him back. And THT, with his offensive upside, you hopefully want him back too.
Big game, James. I hate to make you choose between kids, but these are the type of players that we love. They're great role players. They're a part of it. Caruso, a huge part of the championship. THT emerges last year. These are the type of guys you want as role players around your big three. If you had to choose one, is there a way you lean? Or I know that's hard.
I mean, you look at what Caruso and LeBron were able to do in the fourth quarter together.
Yeah.
I think they had the best plus minus. Caruso gives you so many intangibles, but T&T gives you a lot more. He gives you on both ends. Not that Caruso doesn't. He was getting better at knocking down the three. But when you talk about consistency and putting, you know, a lot of pressure on your offense, this kid right here gets to the rim. He's a shot maker at the rim. LeBron said, I am, you know, really amazed at how well this young kid reads the defense and is able to make good decisions when he's handling the ball. He will step back and shoot the three. He's not afraid. I love Caruso, but if I got to choose one, I'm going to go with TNT. His wingspan, his defense, what he's able to do. I just love his game. He's a big upside.
It really wasn't fair to make him choose, but like it's hard. But you have to have that.
It might have to be.
You have to have that conversation, right? But yeah, we love them both.
You love them both.
All right, we're back with more Access after the break. But first, a draft day throwback. And welcome back to Access Sportsnet Lakers. And there is LeBron going to IG, and this is what he's putting up: Brow, Brody, Kane. That's AD. That's Westbrook, and that's LeBron James.
Is that real?
You like that?
Pretty cool. Brez, let's go into the center position because Marc Gasol's under contract. We don't know what's going to happen there, and if they need another one. Remember, they always like to have a couple different ones to run alongside AD, and then of course AD is going to play plenty of the five. Give me your list. We'll go one at a time.
Yeah, a couple different options here. Start with Nerlens Noel. Okay, he's my #1 option for the Lakers. You know, I said earlier a couple guys who would have to take massive pay cuts to join the Lakers. Again, the most they can offer a guy is about $6 million next season. A lot more of the contracts will be about $2.5 million next season, the veterans minimum. Our guy here, he made only $5 million last year with the Knicks. And by the way, he was second in the NBA in blocked shots. So Noel, he's not going to wow you with his three-point shooting. He's made 2 in his entire career. That's not why they're going to get him. They're not addressing the shooting when you get a guy like Nerlens. You're addressing a guy who can score down low in the paint. He'll be there for the alley-oops, and he will defend, and he will get rebounds. A part-time starter for the Knicks last season, still second overall in block shots. You got to like that.
Do you like Brez's #1 on the list?
I do like him. I like the battle-tested, playing for Tibbs, playing in that system, that dog kind of mentality, can run the floor, length, good size. I do.
Give us another name, Brez.
Minus the 2 threes he's attempted in his career.
Yeah, that he made in his career. He's got to work on that.
But can shoot. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, actually, we have someone who can shoot.
Okay.
All right, Kelly Olynyk. I think he had a breakout season, maybe the first ever breakout for an NBA player at age 30. His post-All-Star break numbers with Houston, I know Houston, not a good team, but they were outstanding. 17 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, 36% from three-point range after the All-Star break. Lakers were a bottom 10 in three-point shooting last season, and what did they do today? They got rid of KCP and Kuzma, the guys who were 1 and 2 for them in three-pointers made. So they're pretty much starting from scratch. They were not a good three-point shooting team. They need guys to shoot, and here's a big man who can do that.
Here's my question for you. Alongside with what they have now, do you want a traditional center type of player? Would you like a stretch the floor type of center who can hit a three?
Personally, I like a stretch.
Yeah.
I like a stretch because that's going to free everything else up. If you can bring Gobert out or some of those shot blockers out a little bit. And Olynyk he's always proven to be an intelligent player. Doesn't play outside of his box, makes good decisions, can shoot, knows how to move without the basketball. So, yeah, the stretch has always been, we need three-point shooters. Marc Gasol proved that when he could knock down threes, that worked for us and gave AD and even Montrez and other guys room to work inside. So, yeah, give me the stretch.
I got two names for you guys, since we'd like to bring our family back home.
Sure.
DeVale or Dwight? I'm just saying, does that pique your interest at all? Do you think that's possible?
I like it. Yeah, if New Orleans is going to make more than the $5 million he just made, he's probably not going to get that from the Lakers. Why not bring one or both those guys back home? They had, decent seasons with their respective teams last year. I like this list. Rashawn Holmes, he's going to make too much money.
He's going to make money. He's out.
Yeah, Cantor probably out. I do like Daniel Tice.
Yep.
He's kind of a blend of a shooter and a physical guy.
I'm with you.
I like what he did for Boston. Then he got traded to Chicago, kind of got lost in that shuffle there. But I like what he brings. Will he take, again, not a ton of money.
JaVale or Dwight interest you there, Big Game James? We had a lot of fun.
Dwight Howard is a specialist at what he does. I mean, what he did against Denver Nuggets and Jokic, when we needed someone to slow Jokic down, was like superb. Is he still doing that? Can he still do that?
I mean, if you looked at his Instagram, he's now knocking down threes.
He helped Philly.
Oh, we don't want that. The free throws. Let's start with the free throws.
He's like, I'm done with the inside.
We don't need threes. But I do like Dwight Howard. I like the reformed Dwight Howard. So if he can still do what he does, come in and muck up things and play physical and get alley-oops over the top, he's really good at that. If he's available, that'd be pretty smart move.
When it comes down to it, you're complimenting LeBron James, Anthony Davis, now Russell Westbrook. Those two guys have done it in the past, and they've done it on a winning level.
Attitude
block shots, set screens.
His attitude has to be right, though.
Star in your role.
All right. Lakers have started to reload with LeBron, AD, and Westbrook, but does the new big three?
It's only the beginning. I watched my name get called by myself in a ESPN zone lobby. Keep your spirits high and your willingness to grind even higher. #underdog, #NBA draft 2021. This was awesome, guys. Cam Thomas is honoring Kobe Bryant with his NBA draft suit.
Ooh.
#big night, big fits.
Love that.
Check that out. That is awesome. Irvin Magic Johnson, Laker Nation, the blockbuster trade that's bringing Russell Westbrook to the Lakers is very, in all caps, exciting and will definitely make the Lakers a championship contender next season. He continues with Westbrook joining LeBron and AD. The Lakers now have their version of the big three. All we need now, guys, is what? Couple of shooters. And it'll be tough to beat.
It's a big man, too. Yeah.
Magic saying Russell Westbrook is the most electric player in the NBA today. And the Staples Center will be on fire next season.
He added a lot of fire emojis, too. I remember seeing that.
Also, guys, about this upcoming season, the NBA says it will release its top 75 players in league history in October as it celebrates the league's 75th anniversary next season and will honor those players at the 2022 All-Star Game in Cleveland.
I like it.
That is awesome. Very special.
The game.
He's going to be on that list.
That's kind of cool.
Might be a new 75.
No, you are on that list.
I don't know. They got.
Where's that top 50 jacket?
They did 50 and 96. Somewhere hanging up.
Was that 1996?
96. Yeah. Was it in Cleveland? In 96?
Man, that's
Somebody
crazy.
check that. I think it might have been in Cleveland.
That's pretty cool.
Sure. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Lakers agreed to trade for Westbrook, so what does that mean for Dennis Schroeder? Are they letting him walk, Brest?
Yeah, I don't see how he comes back. I think the reality is they were looking at signing a guy for 3 years or 4 years. He obviously wanted more than $20 million a year. That's a lot. That's definitely a lot of money. So in the end, he's going to have to find somewhere else. A few teams, 8 in particular, have enough cap space to sign him for $20 million or more. Where's he going to end up? I don't know. I would be stunned if he comes back to the Lakers because they're just going to have to spend money on Caruso and THT. That's going to be their priority, not a starting point guard.
And Dennis, wants to be a free agent. He wants to go where he's needed, and he wants to get paid, too.
And,
right, James?
in his mind, he felt like he had a good enough year to demand, I don't know if he'll get what he's asking for, but he'll be able to get a pretty good contract. He's had a good year, with the exception of the COVID and missing some games, and then really just not coming back like himself at the end.
Struggled in the playoffs.
He struggled, but he can help a team, no question.
So you add Russ to the Lakers. The Western Conference just continues to be a monster. You look at what Phoenix did. You look at the Utah Jazz and the seasons they're coming off. You look at the Clippers, and I know Kawhi is hurt, but look at the run that they had after Kawhi got hurt. Still made it to the Western Conference Finals. You got the Nuggets with Murray back. You got Luka and the Mavs. You got teams rising like the Pelicans and
Golden State.
Kings. Golden State
Portland.
has Clay coming back.
Yeah.
Portland has Dame. So are the Lakers the favorite?
I don't know. They got to prove it. I think after a couple of months, we'll be able to see. I'm not sure I can say that they're the favorites. I mean, everybody's going to say they got Westbrook. They're definitely
maybe waiting to see what they have around it.
I think they got to wait and see. Yeah,
okay.
We still got to fill in the blanks. Some shooters and the bigs we talked about. We lost a couple coaches. Kids gone, Lyle Hound's gone. There's a lot of things going on. So, no, I'm not giving anybody any favor. It's going to be hopefully a normal season this year, where fans are back in the arenas, where training camp will start on times and players will get back to a little bit of normality. Hopefully, everybody will be healthy. The West, with the Clippers and Denver, and what we've already seen.
So many good teams.
We'll know by Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Guys, you know what I keep going back to? The Lakers were up on Phoenix 2-1.
Yeah.
And they were winning when Anthony Davis went down in the second quarter. So even if they kind of ran it back, I still might have picked them as my favorite to win the West. Mm-hmm. Then you add a guy like Russ, and you go, wait a sec. Okay, how's this going to work out? I think it's going to be okay. We still have to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, what are they going to do with the other 11 spots in that roster? I mean, it's going to be a super busy free agency period for Rob Pelinka, Kurt Rambis, and Frank Vogel. A lot of guys out there they have to fill in this roster. I'm not going to say it's the biggest free agency period ever for the Lakers. That was Shaq in '96, re-signing Kobe in 2004. Yeah. Those are much bigger, but still, you got to fill in, 3/4 of a roster, guys. It's a lot of work.
And then you have to make it work.
Yeah.
You're bringing in different personalities. You got a new locker room. You still got the big three, but you gotta mesh that together, create that chemistry again, and make it work for the long haul.
And to do. It's hard too to look at the West because you don't know what everyone else is going to do in free agency. So you really got to see when everyone's teams are set, that season starts, then you start to kind of see.
Well, after this trade, they got to get busy and do something.
Yeah, they do.
What about Brooklyn and the Lakers in the finals?
That would be KD versus Westbrook.
How about that? Incredible. We just fast forwarded all the way to next June. How about that?
Harden trying to get his first ring. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Kyrie, LeBron. Let's go. After the break, we're back to put the finishing touches on this edition of Access Sports and Lakers. Russell Westbrook on the way. Sorry, we get excited to start talking about